Get this started, so I want to make sure we have time to get through all of your questions. And in saying that, I'm not just speaking for myself, I'm speaking for most of my colleagues up there, particularly the freshmen who were elected to get things done for their constituents and not to watch the government shut down. So I felt it was important to come back this weekend and to have a session to talk about this crisis that we are in. I imagine a number of folks are worried about the IRS and the status of our tax returns. If you have a small business, you cannot get a loan guaranteed by the Small Business Administration. If you're a larger company, you need an export license that requires a license. There's nobody there to help you. Contracts to fix senior living facilities cannot be fulfilled right now. And then, of course, on top of that, you have 800,000 government employees who are not being paid. About a third of them are veterans, military veterans. Yesterday, in the House and the Senate legislation that I think President Trump will sign to ensure that everyone who is furloughed or working without pay will get their back pay when the shutdown is over. That's a good thing. But if you have rent to pay today, if you have bills to pay today, if you have creditors who are chasing you today, that's a small comfort. We should pay the people who are securing the border. And right now, the Border Patrol and all the folks who are interdicting drugs and trying to stop unauthorized entry are going without pay. The FBI, going without pay. The Secret Service risks their lives for the President of the United States. They're not being paid. Now I'll tell you my point of view, and we can then build a discussion around it. My point of view is that this is not really fundamentally about border security or the wall that has been proposed on the Mexican border. Those are important questions, and we should talk about those. But I don't think this is fundamentally a dispute about that. For me, this is fundamentally a dispute about whether it is appropriate, whether it is right to shut down the government of the United States, to hold these vital functions of government hostage when you can't get your way. If you cannot persuade the American people that your policy priorities are right, and I believe the President did not persuade the majority of Americans in the midterm elections that this should be the #1 priority. And the reason why I've taken the positions I have on this is that I think if we give in to this, it will happen again and again and again and again, and our government will be in chaos for the next 2 years. As painful as this is, this has to be the last time. This has to stop here and now. So, what have we done? In the House of Representatives, what we have done is to pass a series of appropriation bills, spending bills, to reopen the parts of the government that have been closed. Appropriations bills that, with one exception, one important exception, will fund the government for the rest of the fiscal year. Now, how do we get out of it? Here's where we are. Democrats in the House are absolutely united. There's not a single crack. We're absolutely determined not to allow the politics of blackmail, of shutting down the government, to determine how we spend money in our democracy. That's not going to change. So, that's my report to you. And I would now love to open up the floor for questions, for comments. And again, let's start on the shutdown and border security if you want to raise it. And then after that, I'm open to anything else.